Good morning, this is Josh, and I'm reading from the Bible, and we're in Genesis chapter 11. Starting in verse 10, Genealogy from Shem to Abraham. We're looking at an interlinear with the transliteration of the Hebrew here, the Strong's numbers up above, the actual Hebrew, looking at it here, and then the English literal translation. So what I'd like to do is read it in English and then Hebrew. These are the generations of Shem. Shem was old, 100 years, and he begat Arphaxad, 2 years after the flood. Ile Taudat, Shem, Shem ben Mayat, Sana, Wayauled, and he begat Arphaxad, Sanatayim, Ahar, Hamabul, the flood. He lived, Wehi, Shem, Ahare, after he begat, Halido, Et Arphaxad, Hamas 5 Mount 100 Shana years, and he begat Wayauled Banim, sons and daughters, Ubenot. Verse 12. And Arphaxad lived 35 years, and he begat Shelah. That's interesting, isn't it? He was quite young compared to his father when he had his first son. Shelah and lived. Wa Arphaxad he Hamas Usela Isalosim Sana Wayauled et Salah Wehi. Verse 13. And lived Arphaxad after he begat Shelah 3 years and 400 years, and he begat sons and daughters. 13 in Hebrew. Wehi Arphaxad Ahare Haulido et Selah Salas Shalosh Shanim Wayarba Me'aut Sanna Wa'auled Banim Ubanaut. Verse 14. And Shelah lived 30 years, and he begat Eber. Verse 14 in Hebrew. Shelah he Sheloshim 30 sanah years. Wayauled, and he begat et Eber. Now this is interesting. Eber, they say that this is the root for, I read this somewhere else, Eber is the first time you see the word Arab. The root could possibly mean Arab. And what's interesting is we're about to find out that Eber is the progenitor of the Hebrews through Peleg, and the Arabs through Joktan. Let's pause a second and take a look at this word. I've always wanted to take a look at it a little bit closer. Alright, so we dig down a little bit on this word, and we're looking at the Strong's number, 5677, Eber. Eber, Strong's Concordance, it means region beyond, a descendant of Shem, also the name of several Israelites. Proper name, masculine, Eber, or Eber, region beyond. Now this is interesting a little bit. Region beyond, a descendant of Shem, also the name of several Israelites. And a Brown, Driver, and Briggs, which is kind of like a lexicon. Eber is a proper name, masculine, Eber. Perhaps eponym of Hebrews, form inferred from Ebir. Compare references there. Sons of Shelah, the grandson of Arpachshad, Genesis 10:24. 1 Chronicles 1:18 and Genesis 11:15. Father of Peleg and Joktan, Genesis 10:25. With especially reference to Joktan, Genesis 10:26 and following. Example, to Arabians. So 1 Chronicles 1:19, there's what I was talking about, the connection with the Arabians in Genesis 10:26 and following. It also is connected to the Arabians in 1 Chronicles 1:19. Compare 1 Chronicles 1:20 and following. Of Peleg, specifically Genesis 11:16, 17, with especially reference to Abraham, Genesis 11:26 and following. Compare 1 Chronicles 1:25. Shem is called Eber. Kal Beni Eber. Numbers 24:24, perhaps. Sivira Lection belongs not here. Hebrews. Iberim. But below, the land beyond the river. Interesting. It's also used of a Gadite chief, 1 Chronicles 5:13. That's interesting, I didn't know that. Benjamite names, 1 Chronicles 8:12. Abed. 1 Chronicles 8:22. Abed. And Baal. Interesting. And Nehemiah 12:20. Strong's Exhaustive Concordance tells us that Eber or Heber, the same as Eber or Eber, the name of 2 patriarchs and 4 Israelites. Alright, 15. By the way, we went back and looked at Eber. I went back and looked at Eber a little bit more. It also has the idea of to pass over, or the border, to traverse. It can be used as a verb as well. In that sense, when it is used as a verb, it means to pass over. Okay, verse 15. And lived Shelah after he begat Eber 3 years, 400 years. And he begat sons and daughters. The Hebrew. Wehi Selah. Ahare Hawlida. Et Ibe. Shalas Shanim. Wa Arba. funny. It sounds like the Arabic. Arba. Wa-arba ma'ut shana. Wa-yawlid banim banayim wa banat. 16. And lived Eber 34 years, and he begat Peleg, and lived. Wehi Eber Arba Uselasem Shana Wayawled Et Peleg. Wehi. Verse 17. That's part of 17, sorry. Wehi and lived Eber after he begat Peleg 30 years, 400 years, and he begat sons and daughters. Wehi Eber Ahare Haulidau Et Peleg Sheloshim Shana We'arba Mount Shana Mayawled We'yawled Banim Ubenat. And lived Peleg 30 years, and he begat Reu. Wehi Peleg Shaloshim Shana Wayawled Et Reu. And lived Peleg after he begat Reu 9 years and 200 years, and he begat sons and daughters. Wehi Peleg Ahare Halido Et Reu Tessa Shanim Umatayim Sana Wayawled Banim Ubanau. And lived Reu 32 years, and he begat Sereg. Wehi Rue Shatayim Shaloshim Sana Wayawled Et Sherug. Wehi Reu after he begat Serug 7 years and 200 years, and he begat sons and daughters. Sureg Wehi Reu Ahare Haulidau Et Shureg Sheba Shanim Umayim Shana Wayawled Banim Ubenaut. And lived Serug 30 years, and he begat Nahor. Wehi Sherug Shelushim Shana Wayawled Et Nahor. And lived Serug after he begat Nahor 200 years, and he begat sons and daughters. Wehi Sherug Ahare Haulidau Et Nahor Matayim Shana Wayawled Banim Ubenaut. And lived Nahor 29 years, and he begat Terah. Wehi Nahor Tesha Waeshrim Shana Wayawled Et Taura. Wehi Nahor after he begat Terah 10 years and 100 years, and he begat sons and daughters. Wehi Nahor ahare hauli dau et tera tesha eshre shana umeyet shana meyauled banem ubenot. And lived Terah 70 years, and he begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Wehi Terah, Shebim Shana, Wayauled et Abram et Nahor, Wayet Haran. Interesting. Very, very interesting. The descendants all the way to Abraham through the line of, get back up here, through the line of Shem.